had a little bit of a technical hiccup because it was grabbing the wrong microphone. Dang. Okay, so what I was doing was that I was running around and I was doing some stuff for our crafting and gathering stuff, but I mostly leveled up Arcanist a bit more. I got a hat. Okay. I actually forgot where the Arcanist guild was for a second. Okay, so we're at a level where we can actually start doing the Arcanist quest without fear of really running into well, we're probably going to need to do a little bit of the hunting log while we're out running about. But like, that's roughly about it. I also... Oh my gosh, did I really run to the one guild that didn't have a fast travel location? Dang it. Okay, so to kind of explain what's going on is that I got to enough of a level that I feel like Arcanist can do the next few story missions properly. Because we're... Welcome back, Blue. It appears your coordination with Carbuncle is progressing at a satisfactory pace. Shall we test your growing acumen with a more practical examination? Our work at Melvin's Gate requires us to inspect and record the contents of incoming cargo. To simulate such a task, we had several crates transported to the cliffs south of the Zephyr Gate. I want you to examine those crates, then return the inspected cargo here to me. You would be surprised at the depths to which some merchants would sink to deter our customs agents from performing thorough investigations. False bottoms, rotting foodstuffs, flesh-eating Vilkin. I suggest you be prepared for any eventuality. Nice. Okay. So yeah. I do kind of like how every single, like, guild... Yeah, every single, like, A Realm Reborn guild has a reason for existing in their environments. And I do kind of like how the Arcanist basically act as border security for this port. In which they're like, yeah, since we're already dealing with math and numbers and stuff, we can do, like, calculations and stuff like that. I just find it really funny. I just realized that my audio is up and your volume is down. There we go. Can I help you? I am not a threat. Pray ignore my presence for the present and allow me a moment to cogitate. I couldn't figure out what that word was for a second. The reaction to my sudden appearance was within expected parameters, but I must admit that I did not expect so proficient a performance against the enemies I set against you. Yet, effective though your tactics were, I spied much room for improvement. As I watched your battle, the wheels of my mind whirled into motion as they are wont to do, inventing other possible strategies you might have employed. Let's see, taking into account your current level of ability, factoring in the etheric constant, multiplying by the number of opponents, then applying your tactics to other potential combat scenarios. My calculations indicate failure upon encountering your threat. Upon encountering threat level 9,785. Well, we see we'll see what we can do about that. Though the opportune window to do so has passed, it would nevertheless, nevertheless introduce myself. I am Clea, the Melvin's Gate Assessor. Acting Guildmaster Thorbergrim elected me to oversee your training and provide any necessary guidance in the instruction in the field of Arcanima. From what I've observed so far, you have an admirable grasp of the fundamentals. I do, however, wish to confirm one small detail regarding your choice of arcane geometries. What factor most influences your actions during battle? I just do, I guess. Just as predicted. And now I have the final element needed to perform another calculation. The probability of you becoming an Arcanist of note is 90%. Give or take 0.5%. Yes, it is certainly quite high. After all, I only know of one other practitioner who responded to my question in the same manner. It was the man who bestowed upon me this grimoire, the Guildmaster himself. While our inscrutable leader is, as I'm sure you have heard, on an indefinite leave of absence, it did leave us with his most notorious saying to date. Strategy is a tool used to manipulate one's situation into the desired reality. No matter how gifted you and I may be, however, okay, I needed to reread that for a second. No matter how gifted you and I might be, however, the instantaneous manipulation of reality that might cause us to suddenly become mighty Arcanists is beyond our present ability. Discipline and experience is the finest strategy in this case. I suggest you continue to focus on refining your aptitude with carbuncle mastery with an arcane entity will greatly improve your success as a wielder of the Arcanima. Here ends your lesson for today. Pray return directly to the guild. I believe Miss Thorbergrim is awaiting some inspected cargo. And what of myself? I'm off to the fields, of course. The tactics I reasoned out earlier must be attempted in real-life scenarios. Theory is all well and good, but there's no substitute for actual combat. We will meet again soon. Okay. I guess. Yes, hi. I see you up there. And there's just a lot of text that just appeared. Let's see. Oh, wait. There we go. I want to make sure I'm actually getting boosted experience. Blue, have you returned with the cargo? The wooden cargo crate used by Melvin Gate to train new assessors. Yep. Yeah, everything seems to be in order, relatively clear of blood and other gore. That can be something of a problem in our profession, you understand. I also had word from Clea regarding your performance. She seemed eager to continue your training. Oh, apparently I'm going to something on Friday. Neat. An odd lass, I admit, but the guild can boast no finer mind for tactics. You would do well to heed the instruction she offers, particularly what touches on the diligent approach to our art. Did you perhaps notice the battered tome Clea carries? That initiate's grimoire has served her from the day she entered the guild. She has had her reasons, but admittedly strange to see it kept all the way to her present position as Foreseer. I fear such an intense focus on Arcanima has led her to overlook other important aspects of life. As our master strategist guides your Arcanist training, I hope that you might return the favor and help to broaden her own perspective somewhat. Oh, whoops. But enough of such matters for the moment. You have done well this day, Blue. Continue your practice with Carbuncle, as Clea has bid. I'll be here when the time comes for your next lesson. Okay. Of course, we're going to get the custom robes. Acting Guildmaster wishes to assess the improvement of your Arcanima skills. Yes, Blue, it's time for your next lesson. Your next lesson is upon us. You are keeping well, I trust. Taking the occasional brisk walk. One cannot form sound thoughts if one fails to maintain a sound body. Now, assuming you have been following Clea's instructions, you should be ready to face the more dangerous threats found in western Lenotia. I speak of roselings and wild jackals, and yes, I would have you vanquish 3 of each. 'Tis the perfect sample size. The first acts of a preliminary test. Okay, so the second to test your hypothesis. Third is to perfect the tactics you devised. Was that even devised? Yes. Speaking of which, I trust your strategy will consist of more than simply flinging ruin over and over again. You are not the novice you once were, and your skills in the field ought reflect that. If you find yourself wanting for other approaches, consider an assault with ruin in tandem with your attacks from your Carbuncle. When timed appropriately, you can deal a crippling blow to your opponent. Yeah, like I said, it's kind of awkward that the Carbuncle doesn't attack anymore, but you still do have the, Carbuncle abilities. Kind of. Okay, let's see. Hunting log. What is left in Middle Lenotia? It looks to all be in Western Lenotia, except for, one thing in Moraby Bay. Huh. Yeah, it looks like that they want us to go to Western Lenotia anyway. So I might as well run down over there while I talk about something. So, I've been kind of looking into certain things, and I've actually come to an opinion that out of all the casters, Summoner is the one that people don't really like as much. Which, to be fair, when you're dealing with 3 casters, one is well-liked because it's weird, and then one is well-liked because it has utility. So the one that is neither ends up being the one on the bottom. Oh wait, I could just teleport to Moraby Bay. It's 100. Oh, it's also over here. Never mind. Yeah, it's a short walk. And I think the reason why is because there's a lot of setup involved for Arcanist. Because right here we have the ability Energy Drain. It will grant us Ether Flow. Yeah, it will grant us Ether Flow, which will fill up these 2 gemstones. Fester, which is this ability right here, uses up 1 gemstone. So we would use Energy Drain, and then 3 Fester, and that actually ends up being a lot of damage that is instant cast. So we can use that in between of, casting Ruin as well. And then you have the summoned abilities, which has the reputation of being kind of weird. And as you go through the levels, you start getting different ones, and the further back you scale, the weirder your rotation becomes. But then again, that's the exact same thing with Thaumaturge as well. Can't believe I ran around that whole area just so I can take out, like, 2 Gubu. Yeah, so as you can see, Faster actually does quite a bit of damage, but it is reliant upon us waiting for Energy Drain to come back once a minute. And Energy Drain eventually becomes a little bit better when you're dealing with Scholar and Summoner rotations. Scholar has an interesting thing where they give you 3 Ether Flow that you can mess around with, which is kind of nice. Why they've only given us 1? Oh, there's the other Gubu. Yeah, we just need to cross over the river. But yeah, I think that out of all of them, I personally like what's going on with Summoner story-wise, and there's several people that don't really want to consider storyline with the reason to play a class, but again, I really like the Arcanist Summoner storyline, and I kind of like what they're doing with Scholar as well. So like everything just associated with Arcanist I kind of like. It's just that Scholar isn't my favorite healer. It's kind of weird to deal with. Yeah. Okay, now that we've made that whole rotation around, we can actually go there. The best way to get to Western Lenosha is not actually through the gates. It's through something that you'll become incredibly accustomed with when it comes to Limsa Lominsa as a whole, and why a lot of people recommend it as your later on you have to pick a city-state to be your to align yourself with. And it doesn't really change anything with like stats or like anything like that, but there are certain rewards that you can own, that you get with each one that are similar. But if you're a person that likes to collect everything, you're gonna get kind of annoyed that you don't have it. So you can just freely switch between them. And the reason why people pick Limsa Lominsa is because since it's on a port, a lot of its connecting points are all around the place. So like we could go to this ferry skipper, talk to him about going to Aleport, and for 40 gil we can head over to Western Lenosha. Eastern Lenosha is Costa del Sol. I kind of like Aleport as an area. We come back here a lot in the storyline, but I personally kind of like it. Those are the leaves. Okay. I'll just quickly grab this one. I'm gonna do it off screen, more than likely. Level 15. Yeah, so we'll do that later. The only reason why I'm not reading any of the stuff from the leaves is because all they are is explaining to you, a new player, what it takes to actually complete certain leaf quests, and we don't really need to worry about that right now. I'm gonna wait until we hit level 15 with our Arcanist to do that one. So yeah, up here we have Upper Lenosha, and then over here we have the Isles of Umbra, which is actually in the same map space. So if you have a mount that can fly, you could just like make that trip really easily. Okay, so we need to find 3 roselings, and hatchlings. Got it. There we go. Okay, where are the roselings? Oh, they're all, like all the way down there. Eh. Yeah, we're gonna just run out of, I'll better to use Ruby. Yeah, so as you can see, if, it runs out of time, you're out of luck, even if you're in the middle of casting. Like, it does not pause. Okay, we've, prepared ourselves for whatever fight we're going up against. Oh, it turns out that, we didn't actually need those. Those guys were from the hunting log. That makes sense. There we go. Almost a level 15, so we could run back and grab that if we want. Do I want to do this, bait? I really don't want to. Because this one's kind of long, protracted, and such an awkward level that I always kind of avoid it whenever I see it pop up. Okay, here we go. Here's the jackals. Glad that I dodged that. Jeez. Completely forgot to move. Yeah, again, due to server tick, if we move just as it hits 15 milliseconds, we should be okay. Yeah, out of all the, you know, this may sound a little weird, but, one of the things that I kind of realized about the classes that I like picking is that they rarely have a problem with resources. Like, the only one that I actually, like, seem to have a problem with resources in is, you know, Arcanist, because it's all about building gemstones so you could use your different summons. And it's fairly okay. But yeah, there is a slight problem. Quarterstone, Skull Valley. And those ones are also Skull Valley. Okay. So, like, right here before the gates. Got it. There we go. We only need to really, like, take out, like, one enemy, I think. And then we should be good. Oh. It's, a little bit more than just one enemy's worth of, XP that I need. Maybe I should have actually done this fate. Dang it. Good enough? Yep, there we go. Can you use that to make sure that our buff stays up? Now we could just quickly do this leave. But yeah, that's... As you could tell, Arcanist is incredibly simple right now. And I don't want to say that that should be the thing with every class, is that every class feels simple at the beginning. But it is surprising how many people view casters as very complicated classes, when at the end of the day, they're just simple rotations that have interesting stuff inside of them. Like, Black Mage has their ley lines in which they're supposed to stay still. And Red Mage has a piece of the, not only do they have to manage their, like, white magic and black magic at the same time, they have to, they also have to use them to approach into a melee combo. So you're constantly, like, keeping track of how much you're doing, and when is a good time to dash in and engage. But yeah, I don't want to, like... Man, what actually is the most complicated class when it comes to early game? I think the absolute most convoluted class to start with. Okay, so I didn't actually explain my point fully during this section, so I think I might actually, like, fully explain it instead of showing the incredibly boring, like, leave quest. What I was talking about is that when you have a class and you want it to start out, like, easing people into the idea of the class, they're going to give you three things: a basic attack, what the class, what the role is known for. So, like, you'll have, like, a mitigation thing for, like, tanks, you'll have a healing thing for healers, and you're gonna clearly have, like, magical base stuff for caster and all that type of stuff. But when you look at everything up to level 15, going into the first dungeon, what has the most things about it that you need to keep track of? And I honestly think that, and this is me, like, finally, like, thinking about this and formulating this all out, is that at the end of the day, Arcanist might actually be the most complicated class at 15, just because you have different levels of creating resources. You know, you have to wait for the ether to come back so you can use fetter. You have to wait to attack so you could use your boost to your carbuncle's to your carbuncle, so that you could start doing a little bit more damage, so that you could then use the gemstones to do bursts of damage. and then you get an additional ability that has those that has the aspects of that element that you just summoned. It's very interesting, but at the end of the day, I think that Arcanist might actually be the most complicated class, because you've seen the difference between me doing tank and me just rolling through the basic attacking combo, then every once in a while putting on a shield so I don't take too much damage. Like, not even like Black Mage has this problem where they're like, I use fire, I run out of MP, switch to ice, and then you keep doing that until you're full back up. I think you might have electricity back at that point, so you use your thunder thing to put a dot on them, and you switch back over to fire, just in time for all of the MP to fully like heal back from you doing that. Like, that's simple. But in terms of managing resources, they really leaned hard into Arcanist of being that resource class. And I don't think any other class that you can start out the game with from level 1 has this problem. But it's also because Arcanist is so diverse, because it needs to accommodate for you to become both a DPS and a healer. So you got a lot of buttons on your screen, and you've got to deal with a lot. That's my 2 cents. With the task, yep. There we go. Oh, right. The Gridanian Elder. Let me just settle this stuff down here. Boo Fang. Is there anything else? Right. Do I want to do the rest of the hunting log? I don't think I need to, since I hit level 16, so I don't really need to worry about too much, because we're already at the level that we need for the actual storyline that we're working on right now. Also, sorry that the previous video in this set was not edited like at all. Like, I was supposed to, but like I kind of looked at it and said like, nah, this was supposed to be like a chill stream, so like I'll just leave all the stuff in there and then just like put a warning on it. Oh, whoops. Welcome back, Blue. How'd it feel to conquer such ferocious foes? Let us ride that wave of triumph onto even more demanding and dangerous challenge. Your next training exercise will be accompanying Foreseer Clea on one of her inspections. This experience will afford you the opportunity to witness firsthand the practical application of Arcanima. Pray do not tarry, Blue. Clea awaits you on the floor below with further details. At first, when I first did this, I was like, what do you mean the floor below? Apparently there was an actual like staircase here for like the longest time, and I just never found it. So I just walked off and like and didn't do it. I was like, what? It's like, how dare I in the past not understand basic logic? Hey, Clea. A timely appearance, as expected. I shall proceed directly to the job at hand. Sorry if you heard that. I've been tasked with examining the wares of a goblin peddler caravan. Oops. Run by the Bullstocks family. Our agents suspect that these beastmen merchants are dealing in forbidden goods. As such, I have been calculated that announcing an inspection has a 60% chance of inviting physical violence. I have prepared a strategy to respond to this possible shift in hostilities, but there is an important... It was like a flash of light. An important precondition you should be made aware of before we discuss the finer points of my plan. Though I am considered gifted with the information of tactics, I lack the reflexive and the reflexes and coordination necessary to employ many of those self-same strategies on the field of battle. Pray keep this factor in mind and adjust your perceptions accordingly. Now, should the goblins offer battle, you are to execute combat pattern 1347, otherwise known as Stratagem Focus Fire. You and your carbuncle will concentrate your attacks on a single foe, and one by one, the enemy will wither under the combined onslaught. Probability factor 95%. Reports place the paddlers in the vicinity of the cook pot in Middle Lenosia. I will depart immediately to assess this situation. Seek me out once you arrive. I like how she basically says, the strategy that you'll be employing is the most common MMO thing of, if everyone on the team focuses the same enemy, it will die faster. I still find it really funny that they specifically coordinate that you'll be in certain places if you're actually following the storyline at the correct level. So if you were doing the Limsa Lominsa storyline, you would be needing to go over here anyway for a level 10 questline. So if you were to just like coordinate it to overlap the two things, like I mentioned with the Paladin quest, the Gladiator quest line having a fight in that same tunnel as the as those crystal bugs. Like, you could have ended up doing both of them at the exact same time. And I like how deliberate that is, because it means that they can coordinate that you as a player and you as a character end up going to everywhere eventually if you're following all of your storylines. I am Forcier Clea of Melvin Gate. You are to cease all transactions and surrender your goods for inspection. Nasty sneak peekers. Gobby's spit uplander nosy eyes on stabby iron. A predictably aggressive response. Very well, Blue. Remember what we discussed. Okay. She summons her own carbuncle. This one's a topaz one. Okay, so she focused on an enemy, so I'm gonna focus on the same one. The wind like really picked up. Jeez, sorry if you could hear that. I already got my roommate upset at me because I walked into the kitchen and made a thing of hot chocolate on a day that's like 95 degrees, and it's like, why? Why are you doing this? I'm like, because I don't know about you, but I honestly find tea and other hot drinks kind of relaxing on a hot day. Like, it is definitely not something you should have on a hot day. I just find it oddly relaxing. Me and my constant contradictions. Nicely done. Adaptation, improvisation. I might have been observing our beloved guildmaster himself in action. This was the perfect example of how the strategy for a given task could be tailored to the abilities of the assessor. In other words, before you begin formulating your tactics, it is necessary to fully understand your own strengths and weaknesses. On that note, there is another question I would ask you. when it comes to improving the probable success of a strategy, do you consider it more effective to concentrate on playing to your strengths or shoring up your weaknesses? So this is a very me thing, but I honestly think that because you're a caster, whether you are a DPS, a magical ranged, or a healer, you normally should make sure that your weaknesses are covered, because it doesn't matter how much damage you're doing, if you're still in the fight, you can still be doing stuff. Oh, again you respond as the Guildmaster once did. I must revise the probability of your potential to attain greatness to 97. You are one to keep an eye on, and that much is certain. But to return to the subject of battle plans, your calculations must include an accurate assessment of your available techniques and their relative effectiveness. This requires you to be critically aware of your own limits and the limits of your allies, and the characteristics of your enemies. I believe that covers everything for today. Please return to the guild and make your report to Mistress Thorbergrim until next we meet. I shall abide here until the Yellow Jackets arrive to take the peddlers into custody. My strategies will keep me company. Okay. For context, the Yellow Jackets are kind of like the Brass Blades from Thanalin, in which they're not actually like... They're the... Again, it's kind of like how I put it then, which it is local police and... local police and a federal organization, where it's like one deals with like small topics, one deals with big topics, usually ones that are from foreign sources. And so your grand companies usually will deal with big things, and your local police will deal with smaller things. So the Yellow Jackets, the Brass Blades, and I believe Gridania's is the God's Quiver. I believe. Maybe or maybe the God's Quiver is like the upgraded ones, like what they like the Sultansworn in Thanalin, which are basically like the high end guards. There's like different groups. Okay. What are we currently at right now? Only about like... We've only been... Oh. I was like, it didn't feel like that we've only been doing it for 45 minutes. I'm like, oh wait. We had technical issues. That's why I didn't feel like it had been that long. Back from the field, Blue? Clea contacted me with a summary of events. It seems you are treated to a lecture on knowing thyself. That particular lesson is ordinarily taught to those only to immediate practitioners. Without a sufficient store of combat experience from which to draw on, it is difficult to fully appreciate the profundity of such a seemingly simple truth. Nevertheless, I feel confident in you that you'll soon be ready for a more ambitious assignment. Keep to your studies, maintain a razor's edge, and maintain a razor's edge of your mind. Don't need that, don't need that. I could do that, and I could do that. That's level 6. And that's level 11? Oh, but it's also for like a different... Okay, I see. This one's also from a different one, but this one's just strictly giving me, like, a lot better stats. Yeah, our biggest problem right now is that if we go over to, like, minor and stuff, like, some of our stuff is just carrying over. Could definitely see that as, like, yeah, some of our crafting stuff is being affected by the glamour plates, but, like, that's fine. Speaking of which, I should actually probably, it's Aft Castle. It's the one there. There isn't one that goes directly to it, because right next to the... Yeah, I think Thanolin is the only one that has a dedicated Aetheryte that is for their wing of the Adventurers Guild, because their Adventurers Guild and their Adventurers Guild location and their Grand Company location doesn't share an Aetheryte. We'll talk about Gridania and its layout, but this one shares one between its Adventurers Guild and its Grand Company location up there. There we go. Now we have our glamour in check. I kind of like how these boots and gloves kind of fit with it. Kind of like what happened with Paladin in this set, where it just looks really good together. Really enjoy it. Okay, now that we're done with that, we can actually go on to the level 15 questline with Arcanist and basically end it off for there. Again, I don't really think that we need to go and do the particular class-based quests until after a certain point. And at that certain point, we're also going to be doing some stuff with the classes that we didn't pick up yet. Also, we need to find a good way to get glamour prisms, because the only real way to do that is to get a Grand Company and then spend all of your points getting them through your Grand Company. And a lot of people don't really like doing that, but I also say that if you're not spending your points on on the different types of glamour prisms and like the different materials that you can get from it, like, what are you spending it on? There we go. Summon Topaz and Enhanced Ether Change grants Topaz Arcanium upon executing Ether Charge. Okay. Acting Guildmaster Thurbergrim wishes to inform you of an important task. You seem tired, Blue. Are you sleeping properly? One's reasoning can suffer without sufficient rest and recuperation. Should you deem yourself fit for duty, pray that you make your way down to the practice floor. Foreseer Clea has requested you accompany her on another official inspection. There is, however, a requirement for your participation. Foreseer will explain the situation. So I was double checking on someone I know that went through most of the storyline. They're not going to go through it. They didn't go through as in depth what I did, but they also did like a lot of like community stuff as they were playing, and they've been playing for a lot longer. And I'm like, how many episodes are you on? It's like 200 and over 250. I'm like, wow. And they double check, and sometimes it's like only like 20 minutes as they like log on just to do a daily thing to talk about the game, and then like log back out. I'm like, okay, I feel it's fair. Because it's 200 and 250 plus days of playing the game, you know? I was beginning to think that I miscalculated, Blue. Thank you for coming. I will soon be boarding a trading vessel suspected of smuggling. All merchant ships that make use of Limsa Lominsa's ports are subject to inspection by Movan's gate assessors. It's a routine I perform daily. In the case of smugglers, however, there is a 75% probability of encountering resistance. Thus, I would appreciate your company during this assignment. It is now that we must discuss the requirement of which we were informed. Though I have full confidence in your martial expertise, it is imperative that you first acquire the ability to summon a Topaz Carbuncle. Such knowledge will be released to you contingent on your acceptance of this duty. Very good. The arcane entity given form by the Topaz geometry will further expand your offensive capabilities. With such an ally at your command, even the harshest of enemies will falter before you. Indeed, we could not conduct these dangerous spot inspections without its support. Please return to Mr. Thurbergrim and inform her of your participation. I will join you once I have completed some final adjustments to my tactical formula. So funny story. So at this point, you have your, I'm going to just refer to it as blue carbuncle because it's not white carbuncle, because there is actually a character that has a white and black carbuncle, and this is not a white carbuncle. This is a blue one. Originally, what happened is that you would get Emerald Carbuncle first. Emerald Carbuncle had an AoE ability. Topaz had a defensive ability, and Ruby had a very high damaging single target ability. And using these in conjunction with each other was very useful. The only difference is that now, as you can kind of see, does wind damage with a potency of 400, of course, since it's higher level. Rushes the target and deals earth damage with a potency. Rushes to a target, deals fire damage with a potency. Like, it does not change between them. It is all three of them now do a single target hit of 400 damage. Well, not 400 damage, but 400 potency to an opponent. I don't know why mine was, You've agreed to accompany the Forseer? Then I shall gladly instruct you in the use of Topaz Carbuncle. Pray do not hesitate to employ this entity in combat should the inspection turn sour. Yeah. So, effectively, what would happen is that you as a player would basically go, okay, I'm summoning Emerald because I know for a fact that I'm going to be dealing with a bunch of enemies that have low health but all rush me. I'm going to use Topaz if I'm going to encounter an enemy that will actually, hurt me. Will actually, target me, so I need something for defense. And then Ruby is what you would just normally use if you're encountering a single target, like a boss. And I kind of liked how that system worked out for Arcanist, but the fact that that system still carried over into Summoner was annoying for some, because all they did was just replace these with elementals. So this one was a fire elemental, this one was an earth elemental, this one was an a wind elemental, and when you get to that point of the game, it feels awkward. You know, you're not really, as some people put it, you're not really a summoner, because you're not summoning anything. I'm like, no, you are summoning stuff. It's just that did we actually get gloves last time? We did get gloves last time, so we'll just grab boots this time. Awaiting the arrival of the inspection party members. Mercenaries Grisfrin and Aristalta are here. Both are old hands when it comes to escorting Clea during her more dangerous duties. Well met, Blue. My spells are at your proposal. It won't be the first time we'll be expecting trouble, but as long as we follow the Foreseer's tactics and keep a clear head, we'll come through just fine. The Morningstar is preparing to dock in Aleport. We will meet our first challenge. However, before we even board the vessel, it is almost a certainty that the merchant ship has hired a thug. A thug or two to accost us at the pier. I calculate the probability is at 98%. The crew wish to avoid attacking us on deck, you see, as that would all but trumpet their criminal intentions to the world at large. Allow ourselves to become... Huh? Oh, it's just a really long one. Now, once we manage to clear the rails, we will face a deck crowded with armed sailors. For a small party such as ours, the most effective strategy will be to incapacitate individual foes as swiftly as possible. Each opponent we down is one less weapon raised against us. It is imperative that we do not allow ourselves to become tangled in multiple drawn-out, have the scroll, skirmishes, lest we be overwhelmed. I call this stratagem Hammerfall. Strategy is a tool used to manipulate one's situation to a desired reality. Keep those words in mind, Blue. It is time that we departed. Let us regroup before the main gates of Aleport. And like any party sent to do a task, we got one tank and one healer to help the two of us, which are DPS. Okay, yeah, we're heading to Western Lenosha, so it's just down here at Aleport. Got it. After we do this, we're going to be doing the other... We're going to be starting up the quest lines. I'm not sure how far we're actually going to go. No. Because we have to get the secondary item of each of them. The only one we're not is Fisher over here, because they're secondary. You don't get until level 60. Because they didn't add that until level 60. Aleport, okay. I keep hitting the wrong button for some reason. Okay. Let's be about our task. Blue, pray inform the steersman at the pier that we are ready to conduct our inspection. Should violence be offered, you are to execute stratagem Hammerfall. Do not forget your tactics are both your shield and your weapon. Okay. By the way, since I was just looking at the screen, I kind of want to point something out. I think it's Roxel. Okay, so if they, so I know for a fact that I've made table salt. You know, it's right here. And I know for a fact that I've made Growth Formula Alpha and antidotes, because I had to do that for the questline. But it feels really awkward that these don't also have the check marks that you have completed it. So I could just go down the list and go like, yep, I have made all of those. Okay, steersman, if that is your real name. You're the folk with Melvin Gate? Ah, hells, I knew there'd be trouble. Okay, Topaz, do your thing. So you may have noticed that that we actually got more charges. So the fire did like a quick attack, but the other two have the innate ability that we can actually run around while we hit them with an instant cast ability. It's fairly good. I like it. Well then, I'm certainly glad to see that you can handle yourself. You'll find the landing boat just down here at the end of the ramp. I'll have no part of what comes next though. Yeah, I get it. By the way, as you'll notice, we used the Topaz gemstone, but we still have the ruby one there. So if we're... Oh my gosh, I forgot that's actually a thing. So like when we want to deploy it, we could just deploy the ruby whenever we feel the need. Okay, here we go. Deftly handled, Blue. Once again, I'm reminded of our guildmaster. Thanks to your efficient response, we'll be able to commence this inspection later than calculated. We shall board the merchant vessel out in the bay. Estolta, would you take to the rudder? The Morning Star awaits. I like how they didn't put me into the boat for some reason. For that little quick cutaway. I don't know why. Since their welcoming party at the pier failed to deter us, I expect with a probability of 85%, the arrival will incite further belligerence. Our objective, however, is not to trade blows, but to gain access to the hold. It may behoove us to employ stratagem Hardhead. The aim of our opponents is to buy time so that the suspect goods may be tossed into the ocean. I do not intend to give them that time. We will bull our way towards the cargo hold as quickly as we can. It is a tactic fraught with risk, but one that your presence makes possible. Shall we begin? Oh, I accidentally muted myself instead of unmuting myself. I am Foreseer Clea. By the authority of Melvin Gate, I request that you surrender your goods for assessment. Well now, your time could not be worse, lass. The old door is all rusted up, you see. Bloody thing won't open, so you'll have to come back another day after we fix the hinges. I will see to the cargo now. Any vessel entering the port of Limsa Lominsa is bound by law to submit to a routine inspection. Oh no, they're Bidens. The law, is it, lads? I reckon it's time our guests had themselves a little accident. Pitch them over their side. Boat swing. I don't know why, but I've just always liked that word. Boat swing. The weird thing is that they don't really put our current team on the party bar right there, so it's kind of awkward. Yeah, it's kind of awkward to deal with, you know? There they go again, breaking the laws of physics. Bloody pirates. Breaking all the laws. there we go. Now we're 17. Oh gosh, the tree out there is like just about to break. Jeez. A masterful display, Blue. Now we can finally gain access to their cargo. Oh! Well, what have we have there then? Well, the old bitch Admiral's lapdog, scampering about me ship. Just like your mistress, always sticking her nose where it ain't invited. No, it can't be. Ha, you recognize me pretty face, do you? But you were caught. Exiled, even. Foreseer, are you hurt? Can you stand? Stay back. Stay away from me. Foreseer, please calm down. What are your orders? Not enough of your whimpering. I've certainly had enough of these bloody books. It's clear to me you ain't learning anything from them. Yeah, you got your different kind of lesson. Screaming noise. Clea, Nafka, preserve us. She's fainted. We must withdraw. Blue, quickly back to the boat. We'll carry the Foreseer. That's right. You slink on back to your mistress. Worthless curs. Laughing noise. One second. Okay. Report back to the Arcanist Guild. Okay. We'll take care of Clea. You best return to the Arcanist Guild and report to Mistress Thurbergrim. 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 Yeah. So, funny story. While we're walking all the way back over there. Hopefully they didn't mess anything up. So, I actually have a list of certain colors, because I am weird like that. You may have noticed that certain colors I have associated with certain classes. Like if we go over to Paladin, you'll see that I colored the glasses blue up here, and I colored the hat red right here. I actually mapped out the different armor sets that will be colored certain colors to show what their to show what set they're in. I think I'm going to fully switch over casters to being it's so hard. I like the gathering classes being in red, but I also acknowledge the fact that several casting classes have red already as their coloring. But then again, so does Tank, but Tank has blue. So it's is currently set as blue, so it's kind of hard. I want a good color for gathering, so it stands out, but I also don't want something that's too close to the yellow that I've always selected for crafting. It's a whole thing. It's weird, but that's just how my brain works. To tell me, oh, I'm currently looking at this class because of this coloring. Good to see you well, Blue. Guest friend, guest friend? Guess? Fine. Guest friend, set word ahead of your travails. Travails? There we go. An unfortunate turn of events, but considering the infamous Blackheart you faced, you might have, fared much worse. Have you... Oh, it's blackguard. Okay. I forgot that that's how that word, is pronounced. Have you heard of the pirate Dosmaga? He was exiled from Limsa Lominsa some years ago, but it appears he has chosen to defy the Admiral's orders. And once more, he dares to lay a hand on Foreseer Clea. Poor lass must be terrified. If I had known Dosmaga was on board, I never would have assigned her that duty. The assessor may require some time to recover. For Clea, that man is a nightmare made flesh. Though her physical wounds will soon mend, there is little we can do to salve the hurt in her mind. Concerned? Angry mayhap? Harness that energy. Channel it into your training. I predict that we shall be needing your skills before long. You know, there are certain moments in this game that I kind of really like. Not because they're like giant and bombastic, but because they're subtle. And I've always felt that the... Okay. And I've always felt the, Yeah, I've always felt that the strength of Japanese RPGs has always been their innate ability to make something incredibly subtle feel like a hammer. And I like how they don't really have to explain why she is terrified of this guy. And all you need to know is she sees him, goes in the panic mode, and is inconsolable. And you just go, you know, maybe I don't want to know what happened. I will help you either way. You know, stuff like that. Okay. So we have now completed the Arcanist storyline for now. I honestly... Do I want to explain it yet? No, we'll wait. Where did my carbuncle go again? Dang it. Oh. There we go. We're just stuck behind something. Okay, so I'm going to take a short break and then I'll be right back. I'm going to go grab something from my throat and then we'll continue for a little bit longer because we're almost at the 2-hour mark that I set for myself. And again, like, I'm going to show off the crafting and gathering stuff, but I also wanted to do something that I think is actually in like 7 minutes. So I might do that one first, just so I can show it off. Dang. I am gonna quickly check over here. I'm not sure if I can actually check to see when the times are when I can't even like access it myself. Yeah, I can't access it yet. Since people are like starting to form around it, it probably is there. So when we'll come back, we're gonna do fishing next, just so we can get that out of the way, so we can try to make the time.